Psalm 95, verses 1 through 7, New International Version. Come, let us sing for joy to the Lord. Let us shout aloud to the rock of our salvation. Let us come before him with thanksgiving and extol him with music and song. For the Lord is the great God, the great King above all gods. In his hand are the depths of the earth, and the mountain peaks belong to him. The sea is his, for he made it, and his hands formed the dry land. Come, let us bow down in worship. Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker, for he is our God, and we are the people of his pasture, the flock under his care. Today, if only you would hear his voice. John chapter 2, verse 16. To those who sold doves, he said, "Get these out of here. Stop turning my Father's house into a market." So ends the readings.
A fable for the earth. Once upon a time, in a woods far, far away, there lived a tree. It was a majestic tree, tall and grand and absolutely beautiful. All through the night it stood firm, peaceful, rooted in its place. And each and every day it spread its leaves, provided shelter, was a source of inspiration and comfort. One day, into this glade of forest wandered a beast. Nose to the ground, he was sniffing, when suddenly, thud, he crashed into the tree. The collision awoke him from his distraction, and for the first time he noticed that there at his feet was the greenest, sweetest, most luscious piece of land he'd ever seen. Munch, crunch, he ate his fill of that beautiful grass until his heart and belly were fully content, and he wandered on home, back to his burrow, where he slept soundly and peacefully for the first time in ages. The next morning, as he woke, memories of that tender, sweet grass filled his mind, and so off he wandered back to that beautiful tree. Munch, crunch, he ate for a second day, filling his heart and soul, wandering home, sleeping soundly. Day after day, munch, crunch, followed by peaceful rest. Until one day, when the beast made his way back to his favorite spot, he looked full of alarm. Where did my tree go? Where is my beautiful tree and all that sweet, luscious grass? In a rush of panic, he scanned the landscape until he saw it. Unbelievable. He realized, day after day, he had eaten away all that grass, leaving the bare ground which had eroded and exposed the roots. With nothing left to support them, the tree was leaning, about ready to fall. He rushed to the river edge, gathered up mud and water and brought it back, and slowly and surely tried to secure the foundation all around the tree. But it was too late. With one stiff breeze, the tree fell, lost forever. Heartbroken, the beast gazed at the destruction and said, I took, and never once did I give, not even so much as a thank you. and in grief he wandered home, back to his burrow, where never again did he sleep soundly. The psalmist reminds us that the earth and all that is in it is a gift of pure love given by God. The soaring mountains, the flowing seas, the green hills and amber fields, the rocky coast and the luscious rainforest, each one reflects the image of the holy. Each stands as a reminder of the ever-present wonder of God's love. And yet, time and time again, we trample upon the temple of God's creation. We use it for our own gain, our own profit, our own comfort and pleasure, ignoring the ways in which our selfish focus destroys the existence of life for those around us. Too often, we celebrate Jesus' indignation with those who have turned the holy temple into a marketplace. Silently in our hearts, we cheer alongside, saying, "You go get them, Jesus. You put those hypocrites and those greedy merchants back in their place." We hear this story that Jesus tells, and we can't even imagine how anyone could ignore the sacredness of the holy temple, thinking only of their personal gain and comfort. And yet, how different are we? Throughout our history, we have pushed those who have lived in harmony with the land off to the edges. We've claimed the waters and the fields as ours to control, use, and abuse. We've taken as we see fit, neglecting our sacred covenant of life, lived in abiding relationship. For too long now, we have seen the earth as an object for our pleasure, and not as the temple of God's creation. We are called to be the church that protects the environment. We are called to be the church that honors our covenant to live in partnership with all of God's creation. We are called to be the church that confesses our flawed ways of living, that accepts our responsibility and dedicates our whole being to just living. We're called to be the church that is willing to invest in the restoration of the creation around us, to change our practices and to restore the balance and the way of Christ. We are called to be the church that lives our faith not in secret, but for all the world to see. Friends, today I invite you to imagine and to dream. How can we be this church? Many of us have been faithful to our earth care practices for years now. We recycle, we shut off lights, we conserve water, we watch our energy use. But I wonder, how might we live even more fully into the call our faith places upon us to protect the earth? What things might we, the Congregational Church of Henniker, do as a people who celebrate, honor, and cherish all of creation? There's no idea too small. There is no act not worth doing. All that is needed is the freedom to try and a willingness to change. So send me your ideas. I long to hear your inspiration, to understand the stirrings of your heart. Write me a note, shoot me an email, paint me a picture if that's what you want to do. I don't care how, but let me know. What is the Spirit of God leading you to do in this place? How might we be the church ever more fully, robustly, faithfully, and lovingly? Let's not get caught up in complacency. Let's not get trapped in fear. Let us not let that mantra of "it's too hard" fill our head. Instead, let us stand with God's creation so that all will know our love. Let us be the church. Let us lead the way. Let us celebrate the temple of God's creation. For God is all around us. Let us live. Let us protect the earth. Let us be all that God longs for us to be. Amen.